I have been meaning to get around to this for the past several days, couple weeks maybe. I first got an email, I believe it was on November 25th, and it's been so busy and I've got a trip out of town tomorrow. So I've been kind of behind on getting to certain things, but I wanted to check this out before I take off for my trip so that hopefully I can get this edited and put up at some point while I'm gone. It's for a short movie called Distancia, and it was produced by Michael Robert Kessler, who is the gentleman that contacted me. So I was curious about him and I looked him up and I found that he was on a podcast. He was like a guest on a podcast. So I listened to that and it was an interesting discussion. So I'm definitely curious to check out this short film and I'm going to do a review of it. But just like what I did with Effin' Nuts, I'm going to actually film myself watching this and we'll just edit in pertinent parts and I'll blur out the video so that you guys can actually go directly to the link that I will leave in the description and watch it for yourself. And then whatever thoughts and commentary I have at the end, I will express to the best of my ability. That's basically how I do these reviews. I just watch stuff and just whatever comes out. Okay, so let's, I forgot. I was going to read you guys the synopsis. It says, an estranged father separated by distance and missed calls tries to reconnect with his daughter to make up for lost time. So, okay, let's just head right into it. It's a little bit under 8 minutes long. I'm sure part of that will include the credits. So here we go.
From Puerto Rico to the Big Apple, the center of the universe. Are you ready to walk? And walk, and walk. I can't wait. I get the feeling that the city and I will get along perfectly. If we couldn't go at 4 a.m. and...
Why am I suspicious?
Fresh and warm.
Why do I have a bad feeling about maybe something that's happened to his daughter? Unless I'm just, sometimes I read too much into these things. I like the cinematography.
Or a show, I don't know.
Looks good.
Oh my god, it was big sandwiches.
That made me a little dizzy. That
have, like a pound of meat between
going around him.
Bread. Just so excited to finally see you.
Something's up with all this stuff.
A movie about New York.
He's leaving.
I didn't know. I thought it was only accessible by cars. You know what I'm asking.
I told you I had a bad feeling about whatever's going on with his daughter. I bet she's not even alive or he's never going to be able to see her. These are like her little drawings. Is this all he has left of his daughter?
Hey.
She have COVID or something? That was over quicker than I expected. Okay, hold on.
Be able to visit you.
Well, that was short and sweet, or should I say short and sad? Oh, there's something else a little bit? Nope. Okay, so as I've mentioned before, one of the really cool things about short movies, and I've also mentioned before that I typically prefer full-length productions, right? Because I like to get really hooked into a story so I can just, I'm in the world for a good amount of time and get to know the characters and get all caught up in what's happening and the dynamics of everything and the dialogue and the way the characters are and the action. And so that's my preference, typically, as a full-length film. But something that I do admire about short films is that it is able to take a story, usually a really simple story, condense it down into just a few minutes, and you've got basically a whole story in here. It might not be much of a story as far as the time goes, but you have a whole story. This story, to me, seems to be this guy. He's listening to recordings that his daughter left before she died. That's all he has left of her, and these drawings that it looks like. I'm assuming, if I'm reading everything correctly, these drawings are drawings that she did as a child, and that's all he has. And he's listening to her voicemails, and he's drinking himself to death, is what it looks like, because he's in so much grief. And so that's, you basically get all of this in the span of less than 8 minutes. Let's say less than 7 minutes, because by the time the credits started, it was just under 7 minutes long. So that's something that I do appreciate about short films, how they're able to do that. And it's also easy to do reactions and quick reviews to them, because I don't have to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours of my time to watch something and formulate all these thoughts. I can just watch this little story, and these are the impressions I get from it. It was well done. The cinematography was good. The original song was good. I was translating the lyrics in my head, wondering if it was going to be a clue as to what happened to her, but no, it was just a sweet song. And this guy who played in here, he looks vaguely familiar to me, but I might be confusing his face with somebody else. But yeah, this was good. Thank you for reaching out to me, Michael, and asking me to check it out. I'm sorry, I don't have a ton to say. I mean, it's a tiny film. And so with short films, I generally have less to say about them. But at the same time, you don't want me to just blabber on about nothing. So yeah, these are my quick thoughts about Distancia, a film by Melvin Audaz, if I'm saying that correctly. And it was produced by Michael Robert Kessler and also Frank Fantini. I will try to remember to look up that podcast episode that I listened to that Michael was on. I can't remember the name of it, but I can probably find it in my browser history. I can just look up his name and he'll pop up. It was an interesting conversation, not very long, but if you're into filmmaking, storytelling, and stuff like that, you'd probably like checking it out. So yeah. I think that's about all I have to say on this little short film. And thank you once again for reaching out to me. And I guess I'm going to wrap this up, you guys, because I have got to turn in early because I'm taking off tomorrow. Alrighty. Hasta luego.